Britain and the EU have agreed on a deal after 4 chaotic years. This ends a chapter of the saga in a sensible way, because the British never really saw themselves as part of the EU. No, the drama between Britain and the European continent is not over, so for those who say, I can close my channel now, no, I will have to do this for years to come. Brexit was just another act that has now ended at the last minute with the conclusion of a trade deal. It is a victory of reason, one must say. Since the British referendum in 2016, one thing has been heard time and again. Brexit is insane, an unnecessary act of self-mutilation that will weaken both the UK and the EU politically and economically. But that would only be correct without any compromises if the kingdom was a country that feels not only part of Europe but also of the European Union. But that never really was the case. The British have always viewed the EU more as a free trade area. The goal of political unification was never theirs. Winston Churchill was a staunch supporter of European integration, but saw his country only as a partner and not as part of such a Europe. Little has changed about that to this day. When the British joined the European Economic Community in 1973, they did so primarily to benefit from its borderless trade. Another goal was, of course, to be able to slow down the emerging political power bloc if necessary, which could best be done from within. Ironically, this was also one of the main arguments of the so-called pro-Europeans in London. Many of them did not want to keep their country in the EU because they were such great friends of the EU, but because they rightly feared for British influence. British abandoning this influence is one of the few irrational aspects of Brexit, at least from a British perspective. This only applies to a limited extent to the disclosure of the economic advantages of EU membership. Because participation in free trade in the EU has always been linked to the freedom of every EU citizen to live and work anywhere in the EU. Brussels vehemently defended this in the negotiations, precisely because the EU is more than just a free trade area. The London negotiators have never understood what speaks volumes about the relationship of most British politicians to the EU. For them, Brexit was ultimately a cost-benefit analysis. On the one hand, there were the economic advantages of EU membership, on the other hand the rising political cost of immigration from the EU in an increasingly xenophobic Great Britain. For large parts of the British people, however, Brexit was above all an emotional decision. It was the choice between a perceived independence and a perceived Babylonian captivity in the EU, combined with the conviction that a return to independence means a return to a former nationality shine. A political actor like Boris Johnson knew this and used it to fulfill his lifelong dream of becoming British Prime Minister. For many politicians and citizens of Great Britain, however, the feeling of not being a European among many other Europeans is part of their self-image. And they do not consider Great Britain just another European country among many, but rather a special or even chosen one. Of course, not all Britons think that way. But unfortunately, they are not the ones who set the tone in Britain today. That is why the country exists from the EU. The country's exit from the EU is not unreasonable. As a result, the EU is freer to take the steps it has to take to assert itself in a globalized world between the USA and China, because it is already very late for that. Britain, on the other hand, may need Brexit in order to feel how small the supporting role it really is and that it will play on the world stage. Spain, France, the Netherlands, Portugal and Germany have already recognized that the former Belgian Foreign Minister Paul-Henri Spaak was right. There are small countries in Europe and those that have not yet realized that they are small. One day the British will also realize that their country may be special, but it's not that big. And maybe then they will even return. But would it be a good day for the EU then? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel, also to my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.